Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode slash video. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Um, Today we are going to talk about the L word. Different from the L words we were talking about last week. This one has a better meaning. Today we're going to be talking about love, y'all. My definition, the many definitions, what I see out in the media. Love is all around us. What can I say? Venus has just entered Taurus, if you didn't know. Now, last week I was talking about lust and love bombing and how I said I think a lot of people confuse those L words for love. I think it's just very obvious in society right now. I am a 21-year-old girl, so a very young girl in the dating world. I feel like the young adults, they just love lust over love, don't they? And I know we're talking about L's a lot, but I want to throw in one more L. I feel like a lot of times people also confuse like for love. And they just think they're all interchangeable, and they're not. They're not. And that's why we're going to talk about it today. Now, this is not the first video I've made on love. My first video on love was actually about self-love. You can check that out in my Yap Session playlist. But today I want to talk about romantic love within a partnership, within a relationship. I want to explain my definition. I want you guys to tell me if you agree with my definition. If you don't, whatever, comment your definition in the comments because I will be reading and talking to y'all and why I feel that way. Okay? Okay. Now, I've been love bombed, lusted over too many times. Okay, like I said, I know that women can be very lustful too, but as a straight person, it obviously comes from men for me. Because I personally don't act that way towards men, but I feel like men act like that towards me a lot. I feel like my honest definition of romantic love is loving beyond the surface. Okay? When you want to love someone romantically, you want to be in a relationship with them for years. It's not when you meet them and you guys click so well and you guys have the same opinions. It's the longer you're together and the more that fades. Like, oh, I don't like this about you. This annoys me about you. You do have flaws. You are difficult sometimes. But you see all that and you're like, but I still choose you and I still want you and I still want to be here. To me, that is love. And that is why I think it's such a red flag when people say they love you too early. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all the examples of when that word has been dropped on me at crazy times. First time, oh my God, I was in high school. I was with my first boyfriend. um, we were together by this point for maybe like, I don't even know how long, but the relationship was only 3 months. So, whatever time that was, um, we were just texting, and I didn't feel love for this boy. Like, I feel like that wasn't even in my mind. I don't know how deep you guys' relationships were in high school, but this one was just very childish. Like, yeah, I like him, he's my boyfriend, but I never really felt that deeply, which I'm not trying to invalidate his feelings if that's truly how he felt. But this boy, we were just texting, and when it was time to say goodnight, he wanted to say that over text. I said, why did you say that? He said, because that's how I feel. I said, you don't even know me that well, and why would you say it on text? He just said, ah, and I'm just like, and y'all, that is the one thing you will never catch me doing as a Scorpio. If y'all know anything about us, I will never be saying anything that I don't mean. Like Scorpios can be real mean, can be real cunt, but it's always going to be the truth. What the truth in that moment. I did not say that back cuz I was like, even at 16, 17 years old, I was like, I know that is so wrong to say it back. I was just like, well, I don't think I feel that way. Like, you shouldn't say it over text, blah blah. That was it. The second time I was dating my first love, who I obviously ended up loving. But at this point, we had been talking for 2, 3 months maybe. And which I'm not invalidating anybody else's feelings. I'm just saying my opinions. And this was only our third date. And I just remember he was saying, I know this is quick and all, but I feel like I love you. And it was so awkward because that time, what was I going to do? It was in person. I couldn't. I was just like, oh, like, well, it's kind of like it was like I never felt love, so and I knew I really did genuinely like him and start to feel deeply for him, but I was like, I guess since I never been in romantic love, I was like, I don't know if I feel that way yet. You know, it was only my third time seeing this dude, and he was very cool about it. He understood whatever. I was like, but I will definitely tell it back when I feel it. And I ended up feeling that way back about a month later. Third time, y'all. This third time was most definitely love bombing, okay? Third time, I was talking to this guy. We went on, I don't remember if it was after the first date or the second, but again, we were on the phone in a good night. He wanted to say, like, I love you. Y'all, we weren't even dating officially yet. I'm like, why do you think you feel that way? And this is how I know it was love bombing because he felt embarrassed and he started trying to take it back. One thing about me, if I love someone, I feel some type of way, nothing can get nothing can get me to take it back because I stand on how I feel. I understand that could be like, oh, like a little embarrassing if you say something and someone else doesn't feel the same way. But I was like, boy, he was like, and again, this nigga ain't really have a reason. He was just like, I just feel like I do so far, and I I don't know. You don't know. You don't know. If you're a girl, comment when a boy has said I loved you uncomfortably too fast. Cause I know if you're watching this, another girl got a story out there like this. Like, why do they do that? Um, but yeah, in all three situations, those are situations where I did like the boy, we were getting along well and stuff, but I was not able to reciprocate that I loved them because of what I said my definition is. I think love is something, romantic love is something that grows over time. It's when you want to keep choosing this person, not when you just see all the good, you see all the beauty. It's like when you can see the flaws too, and you still see them just as beautiful, just as desirable. That's how I feel. And I feel like at those point with those men, I wasn't at that point where I could be like, I seen it all. And it was like at the point where it was still like, well, I don't really see anything wrong yet. And that's where I feel like a lot of people mistake love for lust because it's just like I think that's lust. When you are able to say love, which is a word I think is very deep. I know different people have different opinions, but to say a word that deep when you're like you've never seen this person cry, they've never been mad at you. Like how do you know that? Like you could say that and then the moment you see like, oh, they really get mad easily or they're really this or they're really that. And then all of a sudden you don't feel like that exactly because you didn't love them. You just liked what you saw so far. Okay? I think that using the word love is something that should be like taught about more because I just feel like so many young people see it as like a positive word and it really is. And they just are so quick to use it. But I feel like there's so many other words you can use before you know. Granted, I said I'm not everybody's opinion. People can have different opinions. But a lot of times I feel like when guys love bombed me or were just lusting, when they said love, it meant like. Because you like what you see, but you don't really know me to know that you would still choose me when you see that I'm a little crazy, okay? And it gets deep, y'all, because honestly, I feel like sometimes love doesn't even always have to equal all these other L words. Sometimes love can equal attachment. Um, I think that is definitely the problem in my first love. It was something that was so beautiful and so positive at first, but it just started basically, if you've seen my other videos, I got love bombed, lots of arguing, lots of all of a sudden just being cold to me and stuff. And I still just thought I was so in love and I did love him and all that. And I think partially was that, but I think a lot of it was attachment because I never felt that way about someone before. So the first person I had this feeling about, I felt like I had to hang on. I felt like that was the best out there, which is not. That's why he been gone for 3 years. Okay. But I also do understand why I feel like a lot of young people use the term love irresponsibly, because I think love teaches you and your experience teaches you. Because even though, like, I knew it was BS with the people who said it too fast back, even when I was like 16, 17, I still didn't have obviously a full conception of what it was because I'd never been in love. And now, after being in love twice, I know exactly how I feel about it. And yeah, love is not attachment, even though attachment can coexist with love, which is what I said I think happened with my first love. And yeah, not to school y'all on the jams real quick, but honestly, I really like Summer Walker's definition of love. I know I got some Summer fans in my audience, okay? Like Walker, Summer Walker, Session 32. You don't know what love is if you don't put up a fight. You don't know what love is if you don't stay up all night. You don't know what love is if you're too cool to call a million times. Yeah, yeah. I really love that definition. And I feel like a lot of girls can, and guys and whoever can relate to that, because I feel like in love you just always want someone to fight as hard as you. But I think when love becomes attachment is when you are fighting for someone who's not fighting as hard for you. That is when it's time to let go and get better, honey. You know? Now I want to talk about some contradictory statements that I feel like I hear a little bit about love. I've heard a lot, like hurt people. I'm sure I've said this before when my first love left me, like how it's like, oh, if you leave someone or whatever, a lot of people say, oh, you don't love them. I think that is so untrue, okay? The first time I was in love, the boy left me, and the second time I left him. And both times during those breakups, I still loved that person. Obviously, it wasn't my choice the first time, but the second time, I did love that person. And I was just at my breaking point. I tried so hard, but I was like, I can't keep like taking this abuse and like, without any change. And so I did love him, but I chose to love myself more, which I feel like sounds so corny, but it's so true. Because if you watch my video on self love, I always say I don't think self love is skincare, hair care, spa days. I mean, that is a small part of it, but I think self love is the decisions you make. So you choose to stay in spaces where you don't feel like you're getting treated right, you're getting your cup filled and all that. I feel like you're not choosing to love yourself, but you are when you make those decisions yourself, which is why I say that I feel like it's really easy to criticize the way some people use the term love, but love really teaches you. Because I feel like my first love leaving me taught me the second time, like that I had to leave myself and choose myself, I had to, I really learned from that experience what that meant. Now, what else? What do you guys think about the time frame of love? I don't want to put a time frame on love. I think that, like I said, different people have different opinions on love. It pertains to different situations. But I think, on average, out of the two times I've been in love, I'd say it takes like a couple of months for me. Because, like I said, my definition is when you see the flaws, you see the things you don't like, blah, 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 and you still want to be here, you still choose the person. I feel like a few months, it gives you time to see how they react to this, how they feel about this, how they treat you when you feel like this. And yeah, but honestly, I would never put a time frame on someone else's love story because I'm not you. But let me know what you guys think in the comments because I am very curious. Let's talk about love at first sight. Oh my god, a Romeo and Juliet fairy tale type stuff. So I remember one time I did a poll on my Instagram. Follow my TikTok and Instagram. I interact with you guys a lot on there. And I asked who believes in love at first sight. And some people, to my surprise, did. Like me personally, I always thought that that was like something fake. Like I said, it's in fairy tales and stuff because of my definition of love. Like, I don't think that you could love someone by just seeing them because you see them. So it's like you like what they look like. You don't know anything about them. You don't know if they hit people. You don't know if they do drugs. Like, you don't know anything about them to love them. So I honestly think that's really stupid. But some people have really beautiful stories where it's like they say, "Oh, my parents, like my dad saw my mom at a party and immediately said like that's my wife. That's going to be the mother of my children, blah blah blah." And they're still together to this day, 3 kids later, 30 years. And I'm just like, "Oh wow." Like, I don't know if that's just intuition, but personally, I just feel like it sounds very unrealistic to love someone just from seeing them. You know, you know. I don't know. Another myth that I hear very often, again, from the male species a lot. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's every man, but I hear a lot of people be like, "Oh, it's like you can't really know if you love someone until you guys have sex." What? When I see that, I'm just like, what are we actually talking about? Like I said, I'm not trying to knock anybody else's definitions, feelings, because maybe that's how they feel. Maybe that's what they feel like solidifies it. But again, to me, this one is just like very stupid. So when I said I love you back to my first love, I was a virgin. He wasn't, but I was a virgin, so I never even did that before. And same thing, well, not same thing because I wasn't a virgin, but in my second time being in love, we had not done that yet. And I felt love. Like, I don't know. I just feel like anytime I was in a relationship, people just be like, oh, that solidifies it. Or you can't really see if you like. Some people even say like. Like, you really can't see if you like someone until that happens. But I disagree. And I feel like love kind of shows even more without that because, like, those are benefits, you know? That's a very great benefit, you know, pleasure and that type of connection. But that's why I think it's very special. If, like, you go without it, it's literally just like the person, their feelings, how they are. Like, take that out of the equation and you like them, and then you add that, and then it, you know, like, that's just how I feel. And another reason I feel like that is so not true is because there's some people who wait till marriage. And like again, I'm not knocking anybody else's story or what they choose to do, but I'm like, there's a lot of people that wait till marriage and they be so in love and stuff like that. So like it just depends on the person. But I personally think that statement that you can't love someone until y'all do that just doesn't sound very smart to me. Another thing I want to say is I feel like a lot of times when we get hurt, we think of all these terrible things. Like, for instance, if someone cheated on them, if someone lied to them, or just like how they went about the breakup. I hear a lot of hurt people be like, well, they never loved me. That means they never even loved me. They never loved me. They never cared. And I've been there. Trust me, I have been there. But I actually disagree with this. I think that people are so fucked up. You guys, you see it. Like, you can see it in your parent dynamic, you see it in your friends. Like, how many times have you seen a couple who is abusive towards each other, cheats to each other, like whatever, but they can't stop going back to each other? Like, part of it, like I said, could be attachment, but I feel like just because people act out and do negative things, I don't think that just equates to not love. I think it's not very kind, it's not very considerate, it's not very respectful, but I don't think that equates to love. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Of course, you can feel however you feel, but if you guys don't know, my last relationship was abusive, sexually and emotionally. And to this day, I endured a lot of pain physically, mentally, emotionally. And I'm like, as a victim of that person, I never felt like, oh my God, this person was never in love with me. That's not love, blah, blah. I don't think that was healthy love, but it's just like, I still do think that's love, that he loved me. Um, People do fucked up things. Y'all, my grandparents have been separated since my dad was a kid. And um my grandpa was very abusive, physically, all that. Like, the relationship was just a lot. And they finally broke up, whatever. Mind you, they broke up when my dad was a kid. I'm 21 years old now. And like years ago, before my grandpa passed away, like he would still always have my grandma's name in his mouth. Like, oh, how's she doing? I still love her, blah, 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 blah. Like, and he was abusive and terrible to her. Like, I just feel like people are fucked up and they're messed up and they are a product of their environment. And that doesn't mean that they didn't love or didn't mean well. I think that it's just a fucked up situation. And I hope this makes sense. But yeah, if you get it, you get it. But please comment down below what you think about, what I just talked about and all that. I definitely want to know. I want to chat. I'm here. I'm here to hear what y'all think. These are just my opinions, like I said. And I hope this was helpful in some way. This validated someone in some way. And yeah. And once again, as we are nearing the end of SA Awareness Month, I just want to say to anyone really, but anyone who's been through abuse, anyone who's been through whatever hard times, feeling discouraged, I hope that your genuine soul gets the healthy love you deserve from yourself, from a partner one day, from a community, because this life stuff is hard, y'all. It's hard. And we deserve it, okay? We deserve to keep going and to see those results. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to another video, for watching me yap. I really appreciate you guys. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.